Welcome to Happily Ever Aftermath.
The podcast where we discuss relationships in movies and our relationships with them.
I'm Polina Grunbaum.
And I'm Diana Rojek-Skonard.
Hi, it's Polina.
And this is Diana.
Welcome to my home, Diana. I've invited you in.
Oh, you did invite me in, sucker. Oh, hear what I just said there?
Oh, I love it. It's going to be a lot of puns.
And we lost everyone.
That's the Lost to the Boys. So we're discussing Lost Boys, which is from 1987. Mm-hmm. This is my movie. This will come as a shock to no one, but this is my movie.
You don't own it.
I do not own it. I did not star in it. I only loved it for a time, and it was a good time.
Is it still that time?
I enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
I can't say I love it.
Sure.
But as I actually, like, one of the things I really wanted to talk about with this movie is, like, of course, as usual, I have not seen this movie for a very long time, and I think I don't remember how much of a horror movie it was. And you know how I'm, like, terrified of horror movies, so this is kind of weird. So anyway,
right.
But here we are. We can draw a straight line from Gothic to Lost Boys. Yeah. Okay, so Lost Boys, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Mm-hmm. The Lost Boys, teenage brothers Michael, that's played by Jason Patric, with a C and without a K, and Corey Haim. This movie is the birth of the Coreys, the two Coreys. They move in with their mother, Dianne Wiest.
Yes. And in preparation for this episode, I am wearing my Wiest Mode T-shirt.
Yes.
I'll put a link on the Twitter.
You really should, because it is a fabulous T-shirt. Every time you wear it, I try to remember. I'm like, I'm going to order that.
Everyone needs a Wiest Mode T-shirt to get them in the mood for anything.
That's another thing. I don't remember. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yes, Dianne Wiest.
Sorry, focus. They move with their mother to a small town in Northern California. While the younger Sam meets a pair of kindred spirits in geeky comic book nerds, Edward, Corey Feldman, Corey number 2, and Alan, Jamison Newlander, the angst-ridden Michael soon falls for star Jami Gertz, who turns out to be enthralled to David, Kiefer Sutherland, leader of a local gang of vampires. Sam and his new friends must save Michael and Star and a child. A random child.
That last piece
from
you
the
added
undead.
Yourself.
Yes, I did. That was not the
synopsis
IMDb.
did not include the child. No, no one cares about the child.
No. And there's a twist, which is that we find out that Dianne Wiest is actually in cahoots with the real head of the vampires.
Okay, when you say in cahoots, you make it seem like
she's not in cahoots. It was not. She was not in cahoots. She's been taken in by the real head of a vampire in the estimable Edward Herrmann from Gilmore Girls. He plays this character Max. Anyway, good eventually triumphs over evil, and that is what you need to know before we discuss this movie.
Well, have you seen the sequels?
No,
okay,
God no.
So at the end of this movie, good triumphs over evil, but I don't know if that continues further along.
That's okay. I don't need to have seen. This was the only movie for me, Diana. There was no weird. There's no afterlife. It just existed in its moment.
Okay.
I don't need to know what happens.
Do vampires have an afterlife?
No.
Okay.
They're currently living their afterlife, right?
Yeah. Okay, so I have to take exception to this description in the way you read it specifically, because I do believe it's pronounced Michael. And any Arrested Development fans out there, I couldn't help but just like Michael, and I'm just like, oh God. Stop.
And then sometimes he's called Mike, which
it doesn't make a difference. But so, like, you know, it was such an emphasis, and I don't understand why my radar for people saying names is up high. So, but it wasn't just me, right?
Michael.
No, it was just very Michael.
They say his name a lot.
You're eating maggots, Michael. That's
It's like
old.
It's like he read How to Win Friends and Influence People and was like, if you just say people's names.
He gave him a very firm handshake when he said, "Drink my blood."
Yeah, drink this wine.
Can I interest you in Amway? I mean, I'm sorry, I meant our way of life, Michael.
So, yeah, how did you enjoy this film?
So I started watching this movie, and my husband is chiming in, this joke, this joke, this joke. I'm like, honey, I haven't seen this before. He's like, you've never seen this movie before? I'm like, okay, I've seen this movie, but like walking through the room and someone's watching it, and then I walk out of the room, and then all this other stuff. So like flipping through the channels, it's on, I watch this piece, and then I move on with my life. I know I've seen this movie. This is the first time I've ever sat down and paid attention to watching this movie. And there were a few things, like, again, Ryan was on joke mode. You know, the mullet game is very strong with this movie. And
the mullet game is very strong.
I was more distracted by the fact that they filmed this movie Santa Cruz.
Yeah, which we're filming like an hour and a half away from.
Yeah, the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk specifically, because that's where my family took their vacations every year.
Oh, did
we would go camping at Santa Cruz, then we'd go to the boardwalk, and then we would come home. It would be like an overnight thing.
Oh, that's nice.
And I looked forward to it every damn year.
Oh.
And we did...
Do you feel like this movie brought it back for you?
It didn't bring it back because it never left, Polina.
You still do that.
But it's funny because it spans the generations, because I took my nieces to Santa Cruz years ago, and you know, at the time the 13-year-old like, can we go to where they filmed The Lost Boys? And I'm like, yes, we can go to that side.
Oh, that's so cute.
It was really cute. Yeah, it's really sweet.
Oh my God, I had no idea. So I go there, and the first time I went there, when I moved here, I grew up on the East Coast, and when I moved here in 1995, I totally was dying to, like, I didn't really make the connection they were near each other. I think I always thought Santa Cruz was sort of more south.
Okay.
So when I finally figured it out, I moved to San Francisco, and I was so excited to actually go to the place and where they filmed The Lost Boys. It was a real thrill.
And it's Santa Carla, which I have to concentrate so damn hard.
Isn't it Santa... Yeah, oh, you're right, because it's not Santa Clara, which is also near us.
Santa Clara is real, Santa Clarita is real, San Carlos is real.
Yep.
So that's why Santa Carla. Murder capital of the world, I believe that's what it was called.
That's what it was called.
That's great.
So this movie came out in 1987.
1987?
1987. 87. I moved here in 95. It came out in 1987.
Right.
And I love roller coasters. I was probably like fifth. I guess I probably watched this movie when I was around 15 and 16. I saw it in the theater.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And then I would watch it on video.
On repeat?
A lot. But I don't know if I owned it. I'm going to say that my friend owned it.
That's a strange... Okay, oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I thought like video rental, because I did that a lot.
I definitely video rentaled this, but I don't know if I owned it. I just wanted, but you're right. Thank you for, my parents, I think, liked this movie, but did not have the same fascination. So in rewatching this, this was one of those soundtracks I listened to on repeat.
You mentioned
I love the soundtrack. I got a little overexcited last week. It is a little dated, I have to say. I listened to it this past week, last episode. So I watched this. Obviously you got the birth of the two Corys. You guys had Santa Cruz. We had down the shore. So we would drive to,
the Capitola?
No, we would drive to, so every family in New Jersey has a different down the shore. Like you go to a different place on the shore.
Okay, go on.
And, but it's always the same thing. It's like you escape the deep and abiding and never-ending humidity of a New Jersey summer, and you go to the beach. And sometimes in high school we would drive to Asbury Park, which was sort of kind of dilapidated, old, like it used to be, this amazing beachfront town. So I think I just had that nice like beach I think that whole idea of like escape. And then also, I think for me, what I liked about this movie is it was also about moving to a new place, which I did a lot when I was a kid. I pretty much stopped around this time. Like we lived in the same place in high school.
Okay.
So that was like, I think what it was for me. But the weird thing is when I watch it, I don't remember Dianne Wiest being in it as much as she is. And God bless her. I am so glad because there's never enough Wiest.
She brings the Oscar prestige to this particular movie. Although her dad, while the character himself is a shake your head kind of character, that is played with gusto.
Oh man, Barnard Hughes. Oh man, he is so great in it. Like he is. So anyway, they moved to this town, and basically it's clear that his mom was like kind of a hippie. Raised by other hippies.
Not even there. There's a blatant line Michael says to Star.
Oh yeah, your mom was the same. Like made you. Yeah. But then but he named you Michael. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, but he's just trying to make conversation. With Star.
Yeah. Don't potentially insult the parents as you're going.
No. So basically, he goes. So it's him and his younger brother, but I think this is what I remember from the movie. Okay. And the bits that I was like really into.
I'm listening.
So I am not a huge, as you know, like gore and
I hate that crap.
Yeah, but not a huge fan. But I kind of forgot about all that.
It was very minimal.
It was very minimal and kind of satisfying. Like they did a good job of like giving you just enough gross without.
There were bits and pieces here and there, and then they saved it for the end.
Yes, where it was like,
and unfortunately, it did not age well with the CGI aspects of it, but the practical was fantastic, which is why that's perfectly fine.
The death by stereo. Death by stereo.
I prefer the death by garlic holy water bath.
That was pretty satisfying, but but gross.
No, it was incredibly gross, but I'm just like, wow, that's still going, huh?
Well, I love that. So in the end they kill all the vampires, but they do it. They're basically they've learned all this stuff. The two Corys.
Hey, don't forget the other guy.
Sorry,
the two. So
Newlander, Jamison. So it's
well, you've got the Frog Brothers,
and
you've got Sam, who is Michael's younger brother, who is they bond over comic books, and they realize the Frog Brothers, they've been there this whole time, and they've been able to like say, there's vampires here, man. You call us. Yeah, okay, I'll call you. His brother turns into a vampire. Oh my god.
Yeah. Now I know who to call.
Yeah.
You never know who you're gonna meet when you first move somewhere. Be nice to everybody. I think is the lesson.
Be nice to weirdos talking about the local color.
Yeah, because they might be right. They know more than you do. So I was kind of trying to puzzle out what was it about this movie, because a bunch of my friends, a friend who knew me then was like, yeah, I was super into this movie too. So clearly this was something we did together.
Well, again, my 13-year-old niece super into this movie.
Yeah, so first off,
spans generations.
Jason, that's so comforting.
Yeah.
So
it holds up pretty well.
It actually is not a bad movie. Like I really enjoyed watching it.
The only thing that screamed the 80s, less the mullets, I was not paying attention to the mullets. The only thing that just kind of screamed the 80s were the differences. Like there's this scene where Dianne Wiest is on a date with Max, who gave her a job at a video store. He asks her out on a date, and she's on the phone talking to her kids, and then he's screaming, "Oh my god, mom, he's a vampire, you gotta go home." She immediately like screams, "I'm coming home." She drops the phone and throws it at the host and says, "Tell them I'm coming," and runs off. So like he can only call at from that point, and she can only see it from the landline, and she bolts off, and she can't check on that way. There's no like these technological things that can help out.
We forget that's how much cell phones affect our daily lives until we see these classics.
Well, they're like I said, but it's strangely subtle. Like it's one thing when somebody has a cell phone and it just doesn't work for some reason, the battery's dead, but it's another thing when it's just like, I don't have a phone.
Yeah, like this is not even an option. We're just gonna
exactly.
And they can only get all of the stuff of the vampires through comic books,
right?
And the library. They can't internet. Like go to the internet and discover Slender Man. Like there's anyway, yeah. So they so actually
Isn't that a good way for the vampires to just keep thriving, though? There's no Wikipedia. There's no Vamp Wiki.
Yeah, there's no Vamp Wiki.
There's no Vamp Wiki. But see, then we can jump into the whole what kills them, garlic. Turns out not garlic.
It turns out it's not garlic, but it is holy water.
Sure.
And that's what was great is at first they're like, oh wait, like he tricks one of the vampires, tricks them. Okay, the other thing is I just want to talk about the vampire team.
The vampire team. Okay, yes.
The team of vampires is this weird truce between the punks and the metalheads. It's very strange because there's some metalheads and then there's some punks.
Did you know that there was a group where their title was Surf Nazis?
Yeah.
What? Were they Nazis?
No, it was like a joke.
No.
I think it was a band.
Oh.
There was a band called Surf Nazis.
They were called Surf Nazis? I thought the guys at the campfire that they all slaughtered were the Surf Nazis. But it was at the band, the guy with the greased up guy with the saxophone. They were the Surf Nazis.
I think so. Well, so I looked up the greased up guy.
Yeah,
and he is in a people became obsessed with him. He is in a band. But it's not a band called the Surf Nazis.
Well, I'm saying that they're credited as Surf Nazis.
Yeah.
I assumed. I'm just like, these guys were named Surf Nazis. I just thought they were a bunch of like guys on the beach, just waiting to be slaughtered. It's not that important.
Oh, I forgot. There was a comedy film called Surf Nazis. Anyway, I don't really remember. I guess I'm getting... It was a crazy time. There were lots of bands.
You're not thinking of Surf Ninjas, are you?
No. They must have... I'm going to go with it was a punk band name. That just sounds like a punk band
that
name.
makes slightly...
I think I'm thinking of something else then.
Okay,
Surf Nazis
all right,
is not
so
a band. Okay, so going
half
back.
hair metal, half...
So it's half hair metal, half punk vampires.
Okay. So is that why they have a lasting reach?
Well... I'm confused because they're clearly all on the same team. Maybe they, because there's metalheads in the vampire team.
Okay.
And then there's punks. It's very strange.
No, I mean,
this would never happen in real life.
Is this why they have there's a lasting love and draw to this particular movie because it appeals to both? Well,
metalheads and the punks?
Yeah.
It's a place where the metalheads and the punks can come together in the 80s because that didn't happen a lot.
No, it didn't.
No.
They didn't get their
Maybe
time.
that's it.
Okay.
Maybe that's it. Or maybe they're just like, well...
Did you have a favorite?
Oh, yeah, I was totally a punk person.
Oh, no. Do you have a favorite of the vampire?
Of the vampires?
Yeah.
It's gotta be Kiefer Sutherland. Though once you see the feet... No, it doesn't, but it is. I mean, Jason Patric obviously is the favorite, but he never became a full vampire.
Okay.
Because Kiefer Sutherland, he's just so magnetic in this movie. And so greasy. A lot of people are very greasy in this movie. Like the saxophone player. In this, there's a bonfire on the beach. There's a saxophone player. He's all greased up.
Actually, I believe that was one of those Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk free summer concerts.
Probably.
How come I never... Damn it, they've got Oingo Boingo. They don't have Greasy Sax Man this time. Stupid free concerts. Actually, Oingo Boingo would be awesome.
I was going to say, why?
Hey, it's not Greasy Sax Man, okay?
It's not Greasy.
We're bringing back my 80s bands.
So I don't even know where to begin now. So when I started watching this movie, it was so funny because it's one of those moments where beginning watching it, I totally went into like teenage mode. Like first they start off with the Doors, which I love the Doors. Mm-hmm. Then they start off, and especially at the time, and then they start off with like they're moving and they don't know what they're gonna find, and I'm like, yes, I know what that feels like driving to a new place and like I don't know what I'm gonna find. And then the first night they go out on the boardwalk. Mm-hmm. The whole family, and Michael sees Jami Gertz and her character, not her character Star.
Sure.
And
he is instantly enamored.
And I think for me, first off, Jason Patric is so sexy in this movie.
Okay.
And I was like 16, just sort of starting to admit that I was into this kind of stuff, and I was like, totally had a huge crush on him. I just found them the whole time super, super sexy. So clearly this was the draw. Mm-hmm. And then the way that he is so enamored of Jami Gertz and is so
it's Jami Gertz. I'm sorry.
I know, I just realized that. So Star. Let's focus on Star.
Call her Star.
He is so enamored of her. Like he's just so like, and he kind of like ends up following her through this mysterious dark crowd. Mm-hmm. With it was just it was so I think that was the really compelling thing, and she was so like I was like I want to be like that, and then I halfway through the movie. Obviously, now looking back, I'm like, no, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to have been like essentially kidnapped by a family of vampires who can't decide what music to listen to and probably argue all the time.
So you want to be welcomed by the group of vampires
Just
as
welcomed.
one of their own,
yes,
and able to go as you please instead of being a piece of property that makes it so all you are is bait because they are following orders to make sure they get Michael into vampire mode.
Yes, exactly. But I didn't realize that at the time. I didn't think it through. I was just like, I want to be that alluring.
Yeah. Well, here's my question. Is she using her half vampire wits to draw his attention, or do you think it just happened?
I think it just happened.
Really?
But then she felt like a spark with him too.
Okay. Because I'm wondering if she, because the whole idea was turn Michael and Sam for the sake of...
But this is the thing that doesn't make any sense to me.
Listening.
So that was literally the first moment that they've arrived.
Yep, that night.
And so what happened first? Like, it seems like Max only found out about...
Max, video store owner.
Who is actually the head of the vampires.
Yes.
That you don't realize until the end.
And ultimately the whole thing... Well, the Frog Brothers had an inkling, and as did Corey Haim, but there was a hint of he's just jealous because Max has designs on his mom. And so he's like, he's got to be the head vampire. I'm like, no, why don't you... I was surprised that the movie took that turn.
Yeah.
That so quickly. But Max, I don't remember the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
Well,
I think it was happening like in tandem.
I'm going to say it was in tandem, or it happened really quickly. Or it was basically that like they were like, oh, we can get this Michael guy.
Hold on.
Then they find out about all this other stuff.
I think we have confirmation just, mentally right now. Okay. So here's my thing. I think, and this kind of falls in line with the whole Star was not just bait for him and getting his attention. This is all organic. They're on the beach. They're at the Greasy Saxophone concert. Michael is drawn to her, and she is drawn to him, and it just happens to have happened. In the same time, happening in tandem, Dianne Wiest is wandering down the boardwalk area. I don't think it's on it, but... There's a video store. She is she sees a little boy who has lost his mother. She comes into the store. She's very helpful. She's trying all that. And Max is instantly drawn to her maternal side. And so that's happening.
He's looking for a father for his boys.
And then so Jason Patric is following Star.
Lost boys, if you will.
Oh, okay. Jason Patric is following Star. There is this instant just like, this is my girl, and they ride off. And then the next day, it's like, okay, now it's in place, and that's when they're actually like.
That's actually when he
comes
sees
back
her
with a bike.
again. He comes back with a bike.
Yeah,
then he had a motorcycle. Like, I'm sorry,
Right.
I think it's all pretty obvious.
It's pretty obvious.
Like what I was into.
Oh,
what was it about the movie?
It's pretty obvious that was his mode of transportation.
It was really obvious that he rides a motorcycle as opposed to a other 4-wheel type of transportation.
And also he got the leather jacket.
Yes,
he did
and the white
jacket.
T-shirt. It's all the classics. He's hitting all the marks. He's hitting all the beats.
Yeah, and then when she goes to him the next night, then it's kind of obvious that she's trying to lure him in, and part of it, she's very reluctant the whole time.
Yeah,
there's a reason for that. Apparently, in this vampire world, in order for you to become a vampire, you drink blood of a vampire, and then you make your first kill.
Yep.
Bam, you're a vampire.
Yep.
She hasn't made her first kill, so she's in some form of limbo.
Yep.
Same thing with the little boy.
With the little boy.
Little boy, yes.
So who is the little boy?
I don't know. He was a missing boy. He was on the milk carton of missing boys.
That
was an ongoing thing.
Okay, so it's not like a sister. Yeah, because I was always waiting for them because I remember the boy from before, but I was always waiting for them
I wonder if it's like Interview with the Vampire where they wanted
like
a little companion, little brother. That's messed up.
It's so messed up.
Also, one of the things I couldn't process, how old were these vampires?
I'm going to go with they were like 18 or so.
When they were turned? But how old are they?
I don't know.
There's no hint to that. There's no hint to how old Max really is.
I'm wondering, I think it's fairly new because he said, oh, they're boys. I think it's fairly new. First off, their hair.
Yeah, well, they can change with the times. It would be so funny if they had like a 1950s hairstyle. Still rocking the mash cut from the 1970s.
I mean, Jason Patric is sort of like the messy James Dean. He's wearing the jeans and the t-shirt and the anyway,
the messy James Dean.
The messy like a really messy James Dean.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's where it got a little psycho for me. Is I was like, I remember in my head of Jami of Star being this like alluring kind of powerful character, and then watching it, I'm like, oh, she was just like another kind of, you know, horror movie victim. So it's just sort of depressing.
It is in its own way, but at the same time, she gets to crawl out of the horror just a little bit in the end, which is kind of nice.
That's really freeing. What are we going to do with the boy? Because he's going to go back to his mom.
Maybe. Again, depending on how long he's been part of that group, he may or may not be there. He might want to stay where he is. He might want to go back to school.
He might.
Yeah. Or actually, that's an interesting question. What do you do after that?
Yeah. It's true. How do you process that trauma?
So
is there some sort of, there's got to be a support group for children who've been rescued by vampires. From being a vampire.
There has to be some Funny or Die video of that.
I mean, this is what's nice about the internet is this is now when people can find each other.
There is that.
Yeah. So if you only just waited like 10 more years
as a vampire.
Yeah.
So that way he can stay the same age.
Okay. I think they should have just all stayed that same age until the internet happened, and then they could process what happened to them with others.
Sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
so
moving on.
Yeah. So in the end, you've got the family. They're attacked by the vampires because the Frog Brothers have come in. Mm-hmm. They have decided that we gotta draw first blood, even though technically they started it. They go in. They know to kill the head vampire is how you do that, which comes from a comic book, so whether or not that's true, I'm always skeptical, but okay, let's go for it. Because it turns out the garlic ended up being incorrect.
Yep, but the holy water was right.
That was a fantastic scene where they barged into the middle of a baptism, and they started just filling up their supplies. Also, they threw the holy water into a bathtub with other water. I'm like, is that diluting its
I know,
power?
and how much, what is it? Is it 2 to 1 holy water? Like, Is that in the ratio? Like,
I'm not sure how
where
that
do you
works.
get the ratio?
Exactly, and the potency. It's like this is holy water from concentrate.
See, again, if the internet had been around, they would have found Buffy. It would have been fine.
Oh, Buffy, she's like needed in Sunnydale.
Yeah,
and
but I mean, they could have just consulted. I mean,
that's hard.
Then again, Buffy was 10 years later
in Southern California.
Yeah,
and
that's not too.
Do you think Santa Carla is a hellmouth? Or do you think this was like a small, I don't want to say coven because that's like witch things. Do you think this is like a nest of vampires? There has to be more out there.
There has to be, yeah.
This can't be an isolated thing. Damn it, if we saw the sequels, we'd have more answers.
I know, god damn it.
I think terrible answers.
We're gonna have to, there would be terrible answers we would not be satisfied with. So I think we're going to have to create our own answers.
Yes. My answer, or my question, there you go. So you wanted to be Star. Did you believe
I think I really wanted to be, like in all these things, I wanted to be Star.
But
because I was trying to figure out how do we be sexy? Like, what is sexy?
Idealized Star with her own autonomy.
Yes.
Yeah, so idealized.
Totally idealized Star.
Did you also in this scenario be Star and you get your Michael?
Yeah.
And you wanted to keep the Michael?
Oh, yeah, I did.
You wanted to keep the Michael. Okay.
I wanted to keep the Michael. I don't know if I really thought it through. I don't know if I thought, I think I just wanted to I think at this point, the problem I was trying to solve was getting the Michael.
Getting the Michael.
Getting the Michael was the immediate problem.
Okay.
What we did with the Michael after was probably still a little fuzzy. I think I thought they would do the same thing that they did, which is have this gauzy lovemaking scene.
When you say
not a montage, kind of a montage. Light montage.
When you say gauzy, like they're surrounded in cloth?
There's so much cloth in that. It's like this
literally gauzy. Okay.
Literally gauzy. There's all this like in their when they get together, it's like they're in this crazy bed that's like really large and has lots and lots of Indian bedspreads on it. The 60s were kind of back, and the 80s was kind of a confusing time.
Oh, absolutely. There's always the
20-year mark.
Yeah, the 20-year mark. I just mentioned it. MASH, the 70s, about the 50s. Happy Days was the 80s. Wait, no. the 60s for the 80s for the 60s. No, I did that wrong.
Well,
No.
Happy Days was like kind of 70s and it was 50s.
Yeah, they were the 70s and 50s.
It's always like 20 to 30. Maybe it's 25 years. Regardless.
That 70s show in the 90s.
There we go.
I always look for the obvious answers.
Yeah. I appreciate that about
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that
Is
they
there
had that big romantic moment, in this gauzy sort of bohemian, the whole bohemian thing too. Like they were living in an old hotel. The whole aesthetics of this were really, really good for me.
living in an old hotel that got swallowed up into the ground by an earthquake?
Yes,
Which was fascinating and really well done.
yeah.
Not necessarily the sets, but just like, yeah, we live down here and we got all this kind of cool stuff. Not because, we slowly accumulated over the years. That's a boring story, but I'll tell you this cool story.
Yeah,
This was a hotel.
yeah, because it's a really cool looking scene. Like
Sure.
I this is when I started to have fantasies about living in a loft with the old stuff in New York. So I guess this is probably one of the movies that contributed to my aesthetic fantasy.
This really added to the fantasy.
And Jason Patric.
Now we use fantasy more holistically.
Yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's
me.
That their relationship, very short lived.
Yes.
Insta quote unquote love.
Yep.
And to be fair, Jason Patric is a teenager, so
Yeah.
he's immediately smitten, and she's a damsel in
Yep.
distress. She's a conflicted damsel in distress and also bait.
Yes.
So I think
But she, like, when you see her, she comes out, she's very like sensual and strong looking. Like she's sort of,
very maternal as well.
yeah. And she's also very, she's just very self-possessed.
She's more like an older sister, actually.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think it's more that,
Yeah.
like, it seems like she's more of an older sister figure. Like, at first I was like, oh, is that her? Because she's a vampire. Is that or I didn't know she wasn't fully a vampire. I'm like, is that her kid at first?
right.
And then I'm like, no, obviously not. Like, she doesn't treat him that way.
Still don't know why. Speaking of
yeah.
maternal instincts, since I had never seen the movie all the way through, I had such protective notions with the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Be them hell beasts or be it Sam's dog, just the whole time.
Oh my God. Okay. Sam comes off as a bit of a, he's just like a bratty teenager at first.
Young younger brother.
But the way he like deals with Nanook, his beautiful husky? Yeah, I think Siberian husky.
Gorgeous dog.
With big blue eyes. Oh my God, I love this dog.
No, this is
I don't see this the dog. No. Clearly I'm becoming old because I'm like, Jason Patric. The dog.
Well, number one, I was worried what was going to happen to the dog.
Yeah, I was worried
Number
too.
two, when they siege the vampire nest, they kill one, they can't get them all, so they know when the sun goes down, they're fortifying their home because they know they're going to be under attack. The whole time, the dog's tied outside on there. I'm like, I hope these vampires kill you all.
Yeah.
I was so pissed off.
But then he tries to go save Nanook at the end.
Yeah, I don't care. You're fortifying the home. Number one, you make sure all of the family members are in said fortified home.
So keep in mind, in an earthquake zone, take care of your pets.
Help secure the pet. No. Help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Yeah.
A Better Society. Brought to you by HEAMCast.
No, mostly Bob Barker. It upset me. But and the other thing when there's this scene where it looks like Michael's his first kill will be Sam, because he's freaking out and not really in control of his own bloodlust, and so he goes after that good guard dog Buppy. You bite the stupid vampire. I was so excited.
That was really exciting. And the dog's very well deployed in this movie.
The dog is fantastic.
Okay, can we go back to? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, and the other dog, the other hell beast. I'm like, please don't kill the hell beast. I love him. He'll learn.
Yeah,
He's very protective.
Max's hell beast
His name is
really, really great.
He tried to kill Dianne Wiest.
Yep.
Yeah, I was upset about that, but he's so cute.
I know.
I'm gonna kill.
But Dianne Wiest. I mean,
I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm thinking about.
Okay, I'm sorry.
thinking about the husky.
I'm sorry. I'm going to take you back to your happy nuclei. Can we talk about the death by stereo? Okay,
you're very happy.
When I remember this movie, I think when I rewatched it, I think we stopped at the I think when we would rewatch it, like at slumber parties or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I think we stopped it like,
when the massacre started.
When the massacre started.
when the more explicit one, because there was the initiation massacre. That wasn't so bad.
The initiation massacre is actually
pretty tame,
and really well done. Can I just, so my 3 favorite non-star and Michael scenes were like, well, I guess this is a Michael scene.
So that scene with Michael.
When, so forget what I just said. When there's this, they do this so well. There's this moment where basically they basically are like, come play with us, like come. The vampires at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So it's the second time he starts following a star. He sees the vampires and he's like, oh, these are the cool kids. And they kind of play this game where he basically like
chicken.
They basically play chicken, but they play chicken in this, basically by hanging off of a railroad bridge.
Right.
And it's such a great, something about the scene. It really captures, so basically they're hanging off and suddenly the train comes and all there is below is mist. Mm-hmm. And one by one, all the, because he doesn't know they're vampires at this point, they all drop.
Sure.
Into like the mist and they all go, come Michael. And the fear is so palpable. Like you really, really have this sense of Michael is in this, he realizes how in over his head he is.
Right.
And he's like, it's no, like, because I think, we all, some of us remember being a teenager and you remember this feeling of invincibility, this physical invincibility.
Okay. I was thinking peer pressure.
Well, that too. That's the thing. It's like a perfect moment of being a teenager, physical invincibility, and suddenly realizing that you're in over your head.
Okay.
Because of peer pressure. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was such a great scene because all you see below you can feel how much his fingers probably ache. Mm-hmm. And then this sense of falling. Except
in the Hollywood sense, because they were that amount of upper body strength.
Oh my God. Yeah, they were there for like a good 7 minutes. I can't even do a push-up.
I give them a vampire pass, but mm-hmm. I don't understand how.
But Michael?
Michael, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm just imagining him. Come with us, Michael. Okay.
Also, Michael's like, dude, you're in this like hotel. It's cool. They hand around this bottle of wine. Like, just don't drink the wine, Michael. Okay. Other really favorite scene, really, really creepy, is the first time that you see, and I think only time that you see Kiefer Sutherland's vampire hooves. His name is David, but his vampire hooves. Like,
those were damn cool.
They were so cool. They were so creepy and so like...
It's well done.
Yeah, there's like little moments in the scene. And then Death by Stereo real fast.
Yeah.
Real fast. Just have to cover it because I feel like I dropped that and didn't pick it up again. When the big vampire massacre at the end, one of the vampires, he shoots... You find out that Sam, Corey Haim, he can do archery, and he basically takes an arrow and gets a vampire through the heart, but it's a metal arrow, obviously connects through like into the stereo, and then he basically ends up dying in some electrical storm, kind of thing.
Yep.
And the stereo starts playing, and now I wish I'd written down the song because it was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's on the soundtrack. You should get the soundtrack. It's on Apple Music and Google Play.
Not a sponsor.
Please be a sponsor. But not that we wouldn't like that. Please be a sponsor.
Available for free on Apple Podcasts and Google Play, our podcast. There.
Yeah.
I evened it out.
Yay. So that was like another really great scene. Mm-hmm. So just great scenes all around.
It's a really good thing that what draws you into the movie isn't just like the whole I want to be a star thing, but it just like this cool action sequence and this cool visual thing of just the hooves and and I get you with that. I saw that particular scene. I'm like, I remember this.
Oh,
and this
funny.
whole thing. The little bits and pieces that do stand out. Now the stuff that really does stand out, of course, is like the grandfather's last line at the end. Is one of the things I can't live in here is all the damn vampires. Like, and that's the part where I know it's meant to be funny, but at the same time, fuck you, old man.
Yeah. He is taking them in.
No, he's taking them in, but he should probably warn them about
the vampires.
How he's managed to live this whole time.
Yeah.
Why he doesn't go into town, you know.
Yeah, he always talks about not going to town, but he never,
town.
you know, he's just like the eccentric grandfather.
And then Dianne Wiest, bless her heart. Oh, Dad.
Oh, Dad. Well, that's the other thing. She's lived there. Like, she lived there as a teenager, but maybe you just don't tell the kids about the vampire. But you would think you'd want to because
she
you
live
want
there?
to.
Do you know he did? Well, that's a backstory. Did she grow up there?
It made it sound like it. Like she goes, I mean,
I never
she
got
seemed
that
to know
impression.
the house.
It could have just been like where he retired. Like they retired after she moved out. And moved. It's possible. I didn't get anything.
But they talk about into town. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I got that sense. Okay, but
so in terms of like Star and Michael.
Yeah, let's talk about Star.
Well, again, it's just very short lived. It's got if you haven't listened to it yet, the whole Newsies thing. Just because it wasn't a blatant thing, and there's all these other things happening, that doesn't mean it.
But
doesn't
it's
have
a driver.
This lasting impression.
Yeah, but it's also a driver of the.
Well, that's
action.
But that leads to my question. Just because there's something very minimal there, it definitely had its lasting impact on you. But is there enough there to actually analyze? Do you think that they fell in love with one another, or is this just extreme circumstances throwing them together, therefore they are bonded?
So I think there's a lot in that, as I discussed in the Hunger Games last week, or last episode, is like, I think this, like, are you saying what is going to happen to them in the future?
No.
What happens to them in this movie that...
No. It's basically when we tackle the question, when did they fall in love?
Is there even enough to even
Is there enough to tackle the question?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
I'm sorry,
really difficult one. No, well, it's not hard.
Yeah.
So
here's the question. When did they fall in love? Can you answer that question?
I can. Well, much like Teen Wolf 2, I don't know if they fall in love, but they've fallen deeply in lust.
Sure.
Which I feel is still something we can talk about.
Okay, if I can defend Teen Wolf 2 for a second.
Go for it.
They exchanged I love yous, so...
That is true. You kind of got it.
I don't think I actually heard an exchange. That's why I'm asking
this I think you're right.
complex question for you.
Well, but I think that they... Yeah, I mean, I think it's obvious that they want to be saved. And they're each other's... and
Are they each other's saviors?
Yeah, they make it... Well, she's... Okay, she is not... She's not his savior.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Obviously, because she kind of is the one who like drags him into this whole nonsense.
She doesn't save him, but she does assist.
Yeah, but it's clear that like if they're gonna do this, he's not like it's clear that it's very, very important to him that they're both saved.
Right.
So I actually think I don't know if she really falls in love with him, but he clearly falls in love with her. So that's actually my theory.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that.
I think what I don't like is she...
But I see the conundrum.
She, in the actual description, said she's in thrall with Kiefer Sutherland's character, and she's, and then my version of it is that she's drawn to Michael's character. I think I'm such the play it safer over here. I think she's drawn to him given the extreme circumstances of their situation. She is bonded to him. I don't.
You mean the Kiefer Sutherland character?
No.
Or do you mean Michael?
No, Michael. I think that because she's been in such a distressful situation, the sisters are doing it for themselves. Version of me, it's just gonna be like, yeah, Michael and her did this thing, and now she's gonna go off on her own and find out who she wants to be. Maybe she's gonna no. That's my in the non-vampire world, and in the perfect scenario where she can go off and take care of herself, she will. Yeah. But I think in these circumstances, because she's had such a difficult circumstance, and for all we know, the life that she led before she came into the vampire group has to have been some version of horrific circumstances.
Yeah, because she does seem very like vulnerable. She seems a little damaged.
Yeah.
And the fact that she is so street smart, I think didn't come for free.
I can see that. Well, also like being a vampire and having this group with you take care of you, I think you can feel street smart because, you know, you have like, it's like, you know, the superhero with super strength walking into a guy robbing an old lady. You have no worries because he pulls out a knife. Well, it doesn't matter because I'm no one's going to kill me. So I think she has like kind of a little bit of a shield there.
So do you think that him seeing all the stuff that they were doing to him and being...
Which him?
Sorry. So all the stuff that the group, the vampire...
doing to Michael,
kind of like snaps her out of her malaise? Or do you think that she was unhappy before this movie started?
I think because Michael was not part of these surf Nazis and just the eggheads that they were attacking. Like in the beginning, the group starts to harass a different couple, but they were just kind of loud and obnoxious. Instead, he was just there. He was just, you know... There's something about him that he wasn't just the typical victim. Maybe it snapped into her that, and I hate putting it this way, not all guys are that way. So they're not all the meatheads. Why would I leave David, who protects me, even though he's kind of treats me like property, nice when you have these guys over here who just treat their girlfriends
also like property.
They treat their girlfriends like property anyway. At least here I'm protected and I have a home. Over there, who knows?
And a very drapey home.
The devil that you know.
Oh,
the devil that you know. So that kind of makes sense.
So do you think she falls in love with him?
I don't think that she falls in love with him.
Michael.
No, I don't think she falls in love with Michael. I think...
Do you think she was ever in love with David the vampire?
I don't think so. I think she's dependent. I think it's just straight up dependence on there. And I'm concerned that it's going to be...
she's also very attached to the little boy.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And that's another thing that, you know, has a problem is that, you know, she needs to have him taken care of as well. So there's that. So I think that's why...
Laddie.
See, I knew it was like something strange.
Yeah, I was like, I was looking through the... I had admittedly...
Is it Maddie? Is it...
Yeah, I was like... Well, because she kept saying, Laddie!
Yeah, it was confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think she's in love with him. The same way I don't think that Sandra Bullock was in love with Keanu Reeves in Speed. It was just there.
You're just drawn to that person.
Interestingly, Sandra Bullock dates Jason Patric in Speed 2, Cruise Control.
God.
And that's your pointless trivia of the episode.
There's always one.
So it's not there. I don't think they were in love, but I think...
What do you think is going to happen later?
Personally, okay. I think that Star is going to feel... like, not she owes him, but she's going to be attached to him in a way that he got me out of the scenario. We had this thing together. And I think that's going to keep her there. Because she also has nowhere else to go.
Yeah, that's a big part of my after,
and honestly,
too.
I think Dianne Wiest is going to take them both in.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's totally mine, too. Yeah.
Because she is. There's a reason Max singled her out, because she is compassionate. Granted, I
think Laddie's going to go back to his mom.
I think... I don't know. Again, it depends on how long has he been gone. Now, if he's just a little boy and it's been like a year, he could probably get away with that. But if it's been like 15 years...
Well, I mean, you can still go home. But it seems...
How do you explain it's been 15 years and I'm still the boy, the same age? That's...
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, then again, I was thinking...
I kind of don't get the feeling, because the whole thing is how long could they have survived being these half vampires without having their first kill and being real vampires?
Well, it's one of those...
Because they still have to feed them, they still have to deal with them, they still need like real food.
Well, she talked about that, where they ordered Chinese food, so they bring food in.
Yeah,
the vampires did have Chinese delivered. So there's that.
So they have that on speed dial.
Yeah.
How did they get phone service over there? I'm very confused. Do they go takeout? Like, there's the
address. What address did they give to the delivery guy? And why didn't they kill the delivery guy?
I have a feeling it's just their takeout spot. And so on the way home from that craziness, it's like the guy's turn. It's Tuesday, so it's like the hair metal guy's turn. The guy who is death by stereo. That's my theory.
Okay.
You know, like, get the things we usually get, the maggots and the worms.
Michael. Okay. So I think... No, I think that she's gonna... Okay, granted, that place was destroyed. The grandfather's home. I think they're just gonna...
They can rebuild.
They can... It takes forever.
True.
Yeah, but I think she's gonna...
But they're not, like, living in great, you know...
I think she stays with them. I think you're right. I think Laddie? Laddie. I think because the milk carton had his face on it.
Yeah.
I think that
so it couldn't have been like he's gone for that long.
He's not. I don't think it was too long.
Because in the 80s, what was it? The milk carton thing had just started in the.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that piece, and then I think Laddie goes home somehow. Star stays with them, and I think. Well, Michael's going to start school, so I think she's going to enroll as well, and I think they're just going to try their best to go through it. And I think there's going to be a long growing bond between the two of them, and things move forward.
Do you think they stay together romantically?
I think that they're going to have... I think the circumstances of them, I think it's very possible. She's going to talk to Dianne Wiest, and she's going to tell her experiences. I mean, she divorced her husband and decided to do that. I think she's going to seek comfort in that family.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think
it's going to be a Newsies situation.
I was about
Reverse
to say,
Newsies.
I was about to say, I think it's going to be in that kind of situation where she's going to be part of
what
family.
it is. Yeah,
yeah, and I think it's going to work its way.
Yeah, they have a big sprawly house, so I think they'll be fine.
That house was awesome.
I know. Well, I think that I realized was also a big draw for me. So I totally agree.
Okay.
I'm going to say that they don't quite fall. They definitely fall deeply in lust. Like there is just a lot of physicality there.
Yes, I'm not going to deny that.
Yeah, and they did go through something. I totally agree with you. I think that they both, that whole family is going to come close. They basically had an experience they can't talk to too many people about. Mm-hmm. And they're all going to, there's some trauma that they're all going to have to kind of cope with together. Mm-hmm. And I think it is going to be one of those houses where the Frog brothers are going to be in and out. Mm-hmm. They're going to have I'm sure Laddie's going to come and visit from time to time.
Would he?
You think he's just going to be like,
I think for a little while he's going to stay the F away.
Oh, that's true.
And he's going to pretend that it never happened, and then he'll come to terms with it later. Because why would you want to go back to visit that scene? It's very,
I think Michael is going to feel very protective of her, and. Yeah, and I think you're right. Like, I think they're going to be, working through, like, talking a lot. And I think it's eventually, though, like, she's going to have to go back to school. I think eventually she's going to realize, like, I can't be here anymore. And I think that at that point, I think that they're going to be close enough that they're going to kind of make a mutual, like, where we both need to move on with our adult lives.
Sure.
Conversely, another option that I had is basically they're going to do that. And they're going to separate, say, from college and maybe a few years after. Mm-hmm. But then they're going to move to San Francisco. Maybe they're both and they're going to start spending time together again. And they're going to realize, like, why? Mm-hmm. Why did we break up? Like, we had our time apart. They're obviously two very attractive people. They're going to spend a lot of time with other people, but they're going to realize that there's just something there, and they're going to come back to sort of live they're going to come back. They're probably not going to live in Santa Carla, which by then will have become like extremely expensive. Let's leave Santa Cruz out of it. Will gentrify.
Okay.
Pretty heavily, and will become first an artist colony, and then start attracting, have kind of vacation homes and start a very kind of high end beach resort kind of thing. And so that house, they're going to inherit that house, and the family's going to have some money to start a new life. To start lives elsewhere. So I actually think maybe Jason Patric is going to start a motorcycle, is going to start a custom motorcycle shop. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
And she's going to start a shop on Haight Street, selling those gauzy blouses and drop waist skirts that she wears. There, I said it again, drop waist. Okay,
gauzy.
I'm going with it.
All right.
I'm going with that.
No, that's fine. Again, I think that she's going to bond with that family, similar to the other Dianne Wiest gem, Parenthood. Have you seen The Parenthood?
Of course I've seen. I love The Parenthood.
I think she's going to be the Keanu Reeves of this scenario where the child of Dianne Wiest falls in love with, and it's a young high school student person decides to bring this person in that she doesn't think is the best for her child, but she's going to make it happen and she's going to make it work because that's what her kid wants. I think they're going to move back to Phoenix after school is over, mainly because it's very sunny there. And I think it's going to stay together, and it's going to be a very strained relationship, but they're going to stay together because much like Star was afraid to leave David in the nest, I think she's going to stay with Michael, but Michael is a good guy at heart. He grew up with the single mom, and so he's going to do the best that he can. Sam is going to come visit from time to time, and Dianne Wiest is going to stick around until Grandpa finally kicks it, and then she'll have the money, but...
Do you think Dianne Wiest is going to find love?
You know, I can tell you Dianne Wiest definitely deserves to find love, but at the time being, because she's focused so much on, you know, trying to do right by her kids, even though she was trying to get some dating going, you know, in her time there. I think she's going to do the Wiesting of the taking care of the kids until it's finally her time to find love.
Well, because she wanted to do it very quickly. I mean, she was really ready. I think it's going to take her a while to trust again.
I can see that.
Because that's like, she was taken in by that guy.
She really was.
And so she's going to be questioning. She's like, I've got 2 for 2 now. You know, I've got like the bad husband and the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or maybe she decides to go the route of her dad and just kind of like live alone, be happy, not want company, and then find a widower that she can just totally make calls to.
Yeah. Maybe she'll join like a drum circle.
Is that a hippie thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, and through that we'll find her voice.
Go Wiest mode.
Wiest mode.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
what's up next?
If I remember correctly, up next we're going to be talking about Can't Hardly Wait.
Ooh.
It is I want to say it's 1997.
Jokes write themselves.
It's okay. I wait anxiously for them. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt and Ethan Embry and Lauren Ambrose and freaking bunch of people that you swear you've seen from that thing in television. So I'm gonna have so much fun name dropping.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. The all and whereas I'm gonna pull the like being like my mom. You know that girl with the hair.
It's Eric Balfour.
And then I'm going to mangle all the names. Yeah. It'll be great.
Yeah, and by great, you mean I'm going to start twitching.
Yes. And I'm going to sit very far away from you while recording.
Yeah, that's okay.
Do we have any business?
Yeah, so you can find us on Twitter at HEAMCast, Happily Ever Aftermath Cast. Same thing, you can get contact at HEAMcast.com if you want to let us know all about your movie that influenced you.
And also follow us because we sometimes do some polls and some
other things. Those were fun things. There's that. There's also we have a Facebook page, Happily Ever Aftermath, and there was a thing I wanted to add. If you like us, you can leave us a review on iTunes,
please. And we love to hear from. And we also would love to get feedback if there are things that make you crazy.
Feedback. We have this one fan who keeps every episode has. Oh shoot! I'm so sorry. I will totally get your name for the next episode, but it's Angela. It's specifically Angela. Thank you so much. I love when you chime in with your observations and your experiences. So we love hearing from you guys when you're
and we loved names. The Michael. We loved. I personally loved the Michael Landon thread on our Twitter feed. That was awesome. If you ever see me at Antelope, that's me.
Yeah, and you can that's
Polina.
That's in response to our Teen Wolf 2 episode.
Yes, where I mentioned my love for Little House on the Prairie, and I was like full in. I got books, movies,
thumbs up.
I played, so thank you for all that stuff.
We love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So if that's the
case,
real.
It's like we really do this.
We're not just talking to ourselves.
Nope.
All right. So I think I got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye. See you next time.